Hello everyone, today in this video we will learn iterations or looping. This is one of the control statement. We have already studied the selections operations in the previous video. Now today we will learn iterations or looping. This is also an important part of the control statement. This is mostly used terminology. This is the mostly used logic in any programming language or in any programming field. The program is incomplete without knowing this, so that we need to know it. What does the looping or iterations means? Suppose we have a block A contains the number of codes, certain line of codes, and iterations and looping means repeating same process again and again to the number of time. How many number of time will give computer the instructions to repeat this 5 times, 6 times, and so on. That means iterations or looping means to repeat certain things again and again. Same thing. That is called the looping. Suppose block A. If we instruct block A to execute 5 times, then that means looping and iterations. How to perform this looping operations? Let's see. There are three methods of doing looping. For loop or iterations. While loop. Do while loop. There are three methods to perform a looping operations in the C programming language, that are for loop, while loop, do while loop. These all perform the same operations that repeat the certain code, certain block of code, fixed number of time. But their syntax is different. The syntax is different. Syntax means how to express, how to do looping is different for each of this terminology. Now let's look for loop. What is the for loop? For loop, if we use a for statement to perform the looping, to repeat the certain operations, then this is called the for loop. Syntax of for loop: for parenthesis open, initialization, initializations, semicolon. We need to write semicolon, condition, and semicolon. Increment slash decrement. We can use either increment or decrement. Now this is the syntax of for loop, and we need to append a block of code, let block A within this bracket. Now block of A will be executed number of times, and the number of times defined by this statements. For loop contain three things: initializations, conditions, or increment and decrement. That means let's write a for loop. Let's write a for loop to print 1 to 10. Let's see. For I equal to 1, int I. We need to define variable before using it in the C program language. Int I, and we need to add semicolon at the end of the instructions. Int I is the instruction, and we did this statement by semicolon. Int I is equal to 1. This is the initialization. We have initialized value of I to 1. And conditions: I is less than 11, or I is less than equal to 10. That means if this condition is satisfied, then this for loop will terminate. Otherwise, if this condition do not satisfy, then it executes its block repeatedly. And let increment or decrement, I have one value and 2 which 10, we need to increase it. I equal to I plus 1, or simply we can write I plus plus. Now I plus plus, plus plus means increment. If value of I is 1, I plus plus do I plus plus assign increase value of I by 1 and it's become 2. If I value of I is 2, then I here I plus plus makes value of I 3 and so on. That means if I is equal to 1, I plus plus equal to 2 because it increase value of I by 1. Now so what? Let our block of print f I. If we are writing the variable, we do not need to close it by the double quotations. Double quotations in this, we cannot write in this way. Now I. This will print the value of I in the screen. We cannot give semicolon here because if we give the semicolons, we are terminating this for loop here. But for loop is terminating here, so that we cannot write semicolon here. But we need to write semicolon here because this is the complete instructions. Now, this is one of the simple example of the for loop. Now, the output of this statement will be 1 to 10. Now, how does it work? Let's see. Initialization variable I is equal to 1. How does it work? Let's see. I is equal to 1. When I is equal to 1, it check the conditions. It check the conditions and execute it if it is right. Okay. Now, if I is equal to 1, then these conditions will check. I is equal to 1 here. 1 is less than 10. Obviously, it is right. This condition satisfied. That means it execute this statement and print. Suppose this is our screen. It print 1 because we are printing 1. 1 means value of 1. What is the value of 1 in this case? 1. Now, after executing this statement, it goes to the increment. Control goes to the increment or decrement. Now I will become the value of I is 1 till now, and I plus plus makes value of 1 2. Now conditions and conditions will check 2. Initializations. This statement will execute only once. That means it initialize the value of I by 1. That means its operations is finished. Now let's see. After executing this statement, this control goes here and I plus plus makes value of I 2. That means, and these conditions will check. 2 is less than equal to 10. Yes, it is right. That means its condition satisfied. If this condition satisfied, then print f I print value of I. What is the value of I in this case? 2. 2. In this way, it write in this way, but I am writing here in a vertical way line. Value of 2, it print 2. Now control goes here from here, and value of I is 2 and I plus plus makes value of I 3. Conditions check. 3 is less than 10. Yes. 10 true. That means it's print 3. And control goes here. I become 4. And conditions will check. Satisfied. And this statement will be executed 4. And after executing this statement, it goes to here. And I plus value of I will increase by 1. That means I become 5. Here is already 4. 5. And I become 5, and 5 is less than 10, and this condition satisfied, and print I gives 5 on the screen, and value, let me write here after this, I is equal to, after printing this, the control goes here, I plus plus, value of I will be increased by 1. That means 5 becomes 6, 6, and 6 is less than 10. That means this conditions will execute, and 5, 6 will print here, and after printing this value it goes here. There would be a circle between these three terms. Now after executing this, the control goes here again, and I plus plus 1 make I is equal to 7. This and it goes here. Condition should check. 7 is less than 10. Yes, true. That means this condition will print. Let me write here 7. And after printing 7, it goes here. That means I become 8. And 8 is less than 10. And that means true. True means it control goes here. 20 I 8. And it goes here again here. I will be 9. 9 is less than 10. Satisfied. Satisfied means print I. That means value of I is 9. 9 will be print here. And it goes here. What would be the I? I is equal to 10. 10 is less than 10? Wrong. But equal. We have added equal sign here. That means 10 is equal to 10. That means this condition satisfied. If this condition satisfied, the control goes here. And this print the values of the I. What is the values of I? Here 10. Now it goes here I plus plus 11. Value of I is 11. This condition will satisfy for value of I is equal to 11. No, this condition do not satisfy because 11 is not less than 10 and 11 is not equal to 10. That means this conditions do not satisfy and the program terminate. Control goes here. That means 1 to 10. It is able to print. This statement is able to print from 1 to 10. In this way we can use for loop. Now how to draw the flowchart of this for loop. Process. Initialize variable let I is equal to 1. According to our program, we have just written here I is equal to 1. We have initialized the value of I and it check the conditions. Check the conditions. True. Suppose it is true. Block of code will execute and after that block of code will be executed and after that increment or decrement. Increment or decrement. I plus plus or I minus minus. Minus minus means decrement. I plus plus or I minus minus. After executing code and it again goes here. Now and this is end. Oval shape. We need to draw oval shape, not a rectangle. Now this is the flowchart of the for loop. For loop, we need to initialize the variable let I is equal to 1 and we need to check the conditions if that conditions will satisfy. If this condition satisfied, then the block of code will execute and increment or decrement operations occur and again after increment or decrement of this initialized variable we need to check the conditions. If conditions is true, it will repeatedly perform this operations until this conditions give true result. If these conditions give the false result, then the program terminate. For loop will terminate. Now this is the flowchart of the for loop. While loop. Another is while loop. Syntax: while condition now. In this way, block. In this way, we can write while loop. While loop contain only the conditions and the block of code. Now, this is the syntax of the while loop and how to display 1 to 10 at same the for loop do. Now, how to display 1 to 10 using this while loop. Now, let's see the example. While loop, while iterations. I is equal to 1. We need to initialize the variable, value of the variable just ahead of the while block. While I is less than equal to 10. We need to write conditions here and printf. Printf I and I plus plus. We need to write a block of increment or decrement in this way. Now this is the program to display from 1 to 10 using the while loop. Here we have initialized the variable I is equal to 1 just above of this while statement, and while conditions comes with the conditions, while loop comes with the conditions, and the value of the I, value of this conditions will check for the value of I. If this condition satisfy, then this block of code will execute, and if these conditions do not satisfy, the block of code will not execute. Now let's see, let's trace what would be output of it. While I is equal to, now initially we have I is equal to 1. That means this is the screen to display. We have initially I is equal to 1, and while loop check 1 is less than 10. Yes, it is true. That means printf. Printf I means value of I is 1. That means 1 will print in the screen. And I plus plus perform I is equal to 2. I plus plus make I is equal to 2 because value of I is 1. It increase value of I by 1 and it become 2. Now again it check 2 is less than. After executing this, control goes here. Now there become a circle in this way, and 2 is less than 10. True. If this condition is true, then block of this statement, block of while loop will execute, and printf I, value of I is 2. 2 will print display in the screen, and I plus plus made I is equal to 3, and I is equal to 3. 3 is less than 10. Yes, true. True. If this is true, then this control goes here. Print I 3, I plus plus I is equal to 4, and in this way I is equal to 5, I is equal to 6, I is equal to 7. Let me to write here 7. I is equal to 8, I is equal to 9, I is equal to 10. When I is equal to 10, let's see. When it makes I is equal to 10, then control goes here and check value of, for check these conditions for value of I 10. Now 10 is less than equal to 10 is equal to 10. Yes, this condition satisfied. That means control goes here and print I. What is the value of I? 10. It print 10, and I plus plus. It make value of I 11. That means 11 is less than equal to 10. No, these conditions do not satisfy. And when this condition do not satisfy, this statement will not execute, and this is the end of the while loop. If these conditions do not satisfy, then the while loop do not execute its code, and control goes here after the block of this while loop. Now in this way while loop work. Now how to draw the flowchart of this while loop. how to draw the flowchart of this while loop. Condition. Block of code of while. This is the process. So that process we need to write process in the rectangle. True. If condition is true, the block of code of while statement will execute, and control again goes here to check the conditions again. If false, int. No. In this way, while loop work. There comes code and conditions. While loop have only one condition. If condition satisfied, the block of code will execute and again check the conditions. And if it again become true, it execute the code again and again check the conditions until the conditions become false. If conditions become false, it will terminate. Now this is the while loop. Do while loop. Do while loop. What is the difference between loop and while loop and the do while loop? While loop check conditions and execute its block based on the conditions is right or wrong. But do while loop first of all execute the code and after that it check the conditions for the next executions. At least one statement will execute for the do while loop. Do while loop means do first of all do the operations and after that check the conditions. While loop check the conditions and perform the operations. In a while loop, we need to first of all we need to check the conditions and we need to execute the code. But in do while loop, we need to execute the code first of all, and after that we need to check the loop. We need to check the conditions. That means do block of code while. Now this is the syntax of the do while loop. Do and write the code and at the end write while and conditions. While always come with the conditions. This is the syntax of writing do while loop. Now let's use the do while loop to print number from 1 to 10. Sorry, it becomes lengthy. Let's try to print 1 to 5 using do while loop. Do I is equal to 1. Do print f I. While I is less than equal to 10. Sorry, we are printing up to 5. Now, how does it work? Let's see. Initially, this is the screen. Initially, I is equal to 1. We have initialized this variable and do. Without checking these conditions, do means print here, print I 1. Sorry, it must have increment or decrement, otherwise the program will not terminate, because I always have 1 and always satisfy these conditions, and this program will never halt until the memory will become filled. So that we need to increment. For I is equal to 1, do this operation, that means print value of I, that is 1, and 1 plus 1, I is equal to 2. It make I is equal to 2. I plus plus increment. And while these conditions will check. 2 is less than equal to 5. Yes, obviously. That means repeat this step. Print f. What is the value of I now? 2. And I plus plus. I is equal to 3. 3 is less than equal to 5. Yes. That means if this condition satisfied, print f I is equal to 3 here, and I plus plus I equal to 4. I plus plus make I is equal to 4, and while condition 4 is less than equal to 5, yes, true, and control goes here, print I, what is the value of I? 4. Now I plus plus I is equal to I become 5. 5 is less than equal to 5, yes, true. That means print I, print value of I, that is 5. I plus plus, it's become 6. I is equal to 6. This makes I is equal to 6. 6 is less than equal to 5? No. For the value of I 6, this condition will not satisfy. That means this code will not execute and terminate. That means we are capable to print 1 to 5 using do while loop. Do while loop is similar to the while loop, except while loop first of all check the conditions, but do while loop first of all perform the operations and check the conditions. Now let's draw its flowchart. Block is statement. First of all, block of statement. After that, condition. And first of all, at least once this block of statement will execute, and after execution of this conditions will check. If this gives true, then it will goes to that block of statement to execute again, and again condition checks, and if again become true, same block will execute, and it goes to the control to the conditions and looping. There occurs a looping cycle. And if in any case, if these conditions do not satisfy, give false, then the program will terminate. Yeah. This is the flowchart of the do while loop. In a while loop, the block of statement comes after the conditions, but in the do while loop, block of statement comes before the conditions. These are the difference between the while loop and do while loop. Now we have studied for loop, while loop, and do while loop. In the next video, we'll start the switch statement. Switch statement, which is also called the conditional statement. And now, thank you everyone for watching the video. Please subscribe and drop the comment if you have any queries or any topic you want to study. Now, thank you very much everyone.